Hey, welcome back to another episode, to another moment in time, I guess. Welcome back. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Happy you're here. I don't know. Sometimes I need to tell myself that, Happy to be here. Good to be alive. Nice to be breathing. I got the sun shining on me. How can you complain? You know? There's always someone who's got it worse, You gotta remind yourself of that. But to start off this episode, I think I'm gonna pack myself a little bowl here, have a little smoke. If you're not really into it, you can kind of fast forward and figure out where you want to pick it up from, but this is what I want to do, this is my thing, and I'm going to keep it going like that. I don't know, I was talking recently about if I do want to quit, I kind of just want a cold turkey and not go back kind of thing, so I'm not tempted to start smoking more again or whatever it is, just want to learn to cope without anything external, like learn to deal with my emotions and how I'm feeling, and realizing why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, why I'm feeling certain emotions or whatever it is, right? But yeah, it's a process for sure. Sorry, it's probably nice and loud right next to the mic. That's my bad. Gonna have to bust up some more here. You know what? Let's do a low key strain review, like a mini vid within the podcast here. Picked up some weed. Was 3 ounces for $100. Can't complain. And I did get a sativa, indica, and hybrid. The sativa is called Early Durban, and it's not too bad. I think the reason these were $33 ounces is just because they weren't completely dried properly, I think they need a little bit more time to dry out because they're a little bit hard to grind. I'll get into it a little bit later, talking about where I was, but I came back from a little bit of a week vacation, seeing some friends and family. We hit the beach a bit, but did some skating with my one homie there, Riley, and F6. It was going good, had a great session until close to the end. I'm going to push, so I have my weight forward on my board, I'm standing on my front trucks, and I'm pushing off, and I'm on one foot at this point, right, because I'm pushing. Hit a rock, just sends me flying, and I landed on my wrist. You can see a little bit of this isn't even the bad one. That one just got a bit of, it tore the skin a little bit. This one I had the heavy impact, so it's been sore for a while. It's starting to get better. I can do that. When it first happened, it was super sore, couldn't do anything, kept holding it up so I wasn't swelling up too much. My girlfriend's mom didn't really have ice that I could use at the apartment. It wasn't the right shapes, or it wouldn't really sit right on my wrist, and it just wasn't helping. I'm sure it could have helped a little bit, but we're healing up, and I can go into that in a little bit more detail after the smoke, for the people who are going to skip ahead past this, because I'm sure there are some. That's alright. This is just, again, this is what I do with my homies. And actually, it's been a while since I recorded one of these, the last two you would have seen would have been pre-recorded ones, and I think I put one up right before I left, and then I had one scheduled for to go up while we were away. Okay, I'm getting the tote packed up here. We're good. I had one scheduled to go up while we were away, but then I realized I have no more recorded as backup. So, need to record some more. Look at that. But yeah, it's been good. I've been working on music. I want to do more recording podcasts. I can go into, gonna have some guests coming on soon, so that's awesome. But yeah, cheers to life, you know? But yeah, if you're not session with me today, you best be blessing. That just means even if you don't smoke like I do or like other people do, if you don't smoke at all, even if you don't drink, whatever, just give people the blessing, live and let live. You tell them, you know what, you do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting other people. That's all I mean by that, right? Like, just, if you're not smoking with me, just give your blessing and be like, okay, I'll let him do his thing and move on, you know? But yeah, love and appreciate y'all. I love you. Cheers for being here. Thank you for joining me in this video. You can see when it's posted, but it's all just the same moment in time, the same moment in the present. You're just going to experience that presence different times, and, you know, sorry if you saw some hairs flying around. That's peace. That's peace for you. But yeah, cheers to the family, cheers to life, cheers to oneness. Cheers. Don't forget to use a sploof, basically some cardboard with some dryer sheets, through the fan, out the window. Works a minute. But yeah, I love bongs, man. I used to smoke a joint every day at lunch through high school, but man, bong's like a water pipe. Like, it works so well. I love them. But yeah, this will probably be a good point for people to skip to, if they didn't want to join us smoking. That's alright. But yeah, so this week's been good. Big news, we got some guests coming on the show this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to be recording a guest podcast episode all those days, one for each day, and then should have one lined up for next week even. So going to record those and then probably record some to put up in between, so it's like a guest every other week kind of thing. I think that would be a good ratio or whatever, like good timing. And then one of the guests even said if I want, could have him on as a reoccurring guest, which would be sick. I would love that. So things are looking up, you know. I was complaining in one of the other podcast episodes, like, I'm sending out all these messages and nobody's replying, and if they are, they're saying no, and it's like, it's okay, it's rejection's just practice, right? I had one guy say, like, the podcast essentially isn't getting enough views yet, but when it is, he'd be happy to come on. So I was like, fair enough, man, that's motivation, because I appreciate the content that he puts up, and I'd really like to talk to him in the future. So sorry. So that's good. That's sick. We got something lined up for the future and goals to aspire to. It's always good. It's I think it's good to have things that you want to achieve, but that's not like the only thing you're working for, you know? Like, you have goals and milestones you want to reach, and you're going to be happy when you achieve them, but it's not the only thing you're going for, you know? You're not just going for the accolades or the fame, the fortune, whatever. You don't want the vanity with it, you know? It's more for the process of doing it to get to the goals that you set for yourself, right? I don't know. I have big goals. I set myself big big goals, but they're achievable. I feel like it's completely realistic. It's like going to open houses for $1 million mansions you can't afford yet, but one day you will be in a house like that. You're just envisioning, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have the living room here, or like, I like this layout, or whatever it is, but you're getting in that mindset of like, when you get it, you don't have it yet, but when you get it, that's how I've been thinking with a car. It's more, sure, in a sense, it does reinforce the idea of lack or that you don't have it, but you're not focusing on that. You're going, like, there's only the now, right? So if you're living in the present now and you're saying, I will have this or I have this now, in the future version of the present should still apply, right? Like, in the future, you will have it now, Like, so make that future a reality, Speak it into existence and create the world you want to live in, basically. Create the life you want to live and live it up to the max, because only you can do that, Only you can live your life. And yeah, there's so many people I see that are, like, I don't even want to say wasting it, but it's just like, the shit that they're focusing on, it's like, is it really worth the time and the energy to put towards it? And I find myself telling myself that quite often now, especially on Instagram. Like, I want to make my opinion known, and I want to be heard for what I have to say and my ideas, whatever. I'd like to have conversations with people, but at the end of the day, I realize, like, Instagram comments probably aren't the best place for it. The things that I'm saying, are they really constructive? Are they going to have a conversation, or is it just looking for an argument or to be right? And it's like, it's not worth the time and the energy to do that when I could be working on music, recording podcasts, painting, whatever it is. I have all these ideas all the time, like, I just want to execute them, but then I'm wasting my time with this stupid shit. And I feel like that's what social medias are kind of designed for, just to waste your time, and that's it, in a sense. Like, time is money, and if social media can get your time and attention, they can get your money through ads, through, like, you know what I mean? Social media networks aren't profitable if nobody's watching, if nobody's being entertained on the platform, if nobody's being, if nobody's buying the products that are advertised to them between the content that they're enjoying and being entertained by. Like, it's just like that saying, give them the circus and bread and they'll never revolt, because they're entertained and they don't have the food, they don't have the proper diet to be able to fight back. You're going to be sluggish and low energy, and I don't know, man. It's sad that this is what the world has come to, but I don't think either capitalism or communism really work that well, because you kind of see it in the world either way. It's like, those seem to be the two majority rule things, but neither of them is really that great. Like, you look at endgame capitalism and you're just stripping the world of its resources. It's basically like a giant game of Monopoly, where only a few people have the money and then everybody else is broke and can't really do shit. But then it's not fun for the person with all the money, because then you have all the money, you can't, like, the whole thing falls apart then, right? Like, you finish the game at that point, you won, congrats, here you go, here's your reward. I remember seeing a video like that, like, can we just have awards in capitalism? Like, you got to 1 million, congrats, you won capitalism, now fuck off and stop bugging everyone else, let everyone else have a chance, basically. Because once you get to 1 million and you can sustain 1 million a year, like, bro, why do you need more than that? Sure, 10 million, 100 million, choose a number. But why does it have to be infinitely growing and constantly putting it into new stocks and new ventures that are going to grow your wealth and generational wealth? It's like, just get to a point where you're good and then just chill. Like, why do you need to keep working and stressing yourself out about it? That doesn't make sense to me. But that, in a sense, is one of the reasons why I smoke weed and smoke so much, because, I don't know, But part of my thinking, and maybe this is just an intrusive thought or the devil on my shoulder, but part of me wants to think like a placebo. If I think that this weed and tobacco is going to calm me down and make me more present and do all this stuff, is it not going to help that way? Like, is that not why you see stressed out people die young or get cancer, whatever, diabetes, whatever stress causes, and then they die young, whereas people who smoke cigarettes live longer because they're being relaxed by the nicotine, so their brain is more calm? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, I guess it comes down to, like, are you stressing yourself out about the decisions you make in your life, or are you just living your life making your decisions because you want to and because that's what feels right in the moment? You know that life is short, and it's like, that's why I want to quit weed and tobacco cold turkey, because I want to get to the point where I make that decision and I know for a fact where I don't want to turn back. I don't want to, I don't want it to be too late. But at the same time, it's like, man, any of us could die at any time. There are kids that die before they're even born. There are kids that die right as they're born, a few years into their life. Like, teenagers die all the time, young adults die all the time, old people die all the time. It's like, it can happen at any point in your life, so live up whatever life you have to the fullest, It's, I don't know. Like, I smoke weed and tobacco, and I'm 22. I feel alright, except my lungs are getting a little caked up with all the shit. I had asthma as a kid, so it's not like my lungs were tip-top shape to begin with, which is probably more reason to stop, if anything. But I had a friend that's already passed away from cancer. He had oral, like, gum disease, and then I think it turned into cancer. Or no, I think the gum disease was separate, but he had a brain tumor that they tried to operate on, and it kept growing, whatever. But yeah, I didn't really see him in the last year of his life. We didn't really know that he was going through that. The mom didn't really share with our family, like, fair enough, and we could have asked, like, hey, it's been a while, what's going on? But it was also the time where their family's usually busy, they're farmers. It was summertime, but it's like, man, this kid was straight edge, was probably stressing himself out all the time about grades and work, and he was a hard worker. He bought himself his own laptops and technology, whatever he wanted, because he could. Like, he was working hard, but then it gets to a point where it's like, are you just stressing yourself out to the point where it's not even worth it? Like, and I still think, like, I have that mentality, like, there's still some part of his energy around, or he's watching over, in a sense, because if I still have the memory of him, does he ever truly die? Does the idea of him truly ever die? Does his energy truly ever die, or is it just, like, around? You know what I mean? Is it reincarnation? Is he back on this planet somewhere in a different physical body? Who knows, I don't know. I hear people talk about how, oh, you don't know what's before life and you don't know what's after, so why, whatever, but it's like, they're just stages of life, You get this physical body, we don't know what's before or after, but it's still, like, there's still some sort of life. Like, I don't know, you can say that you were like a semen and an egg before you wore this physical body, so obviously you had lives before this one, you know what I mean? There's some sort of life or energy, and you can say that you're made up of cells from your parents, so obviously some part of you comes from them, so they're you, and they're, you know what I mean? We're all made of water. That's why I love saying that, right? Oh, why did it get all choppy all of a sudden? Oh. No, I'm charging. I don't know why. That is kind of obnoxious. I don't know if it's gonna pick up in the video, but I can see it in the capture right now. And now I'm getting distracted by that. We're getting to 20 minutes here. I didn't get to talk about the vacation and that stuff, so I might end this one, make sure everything's good, and then start up a second one, start up another episode right after this. But I appreciate you joining me for this episode where we got to smoke and kind of talk about, more general topics in life and all that. But I appreciate it. It's good to do and get it off your chest and your mind, and just, I appreciate you for joining me and watching this, because, I do it for myself, but it's nice to be able to share with other people, right? So, stay tuned for the guests that are coming on and new episodes of The Present, and just hanging out. I love you. Stay safe. Good luck. Easy.